Hello, everyone. Welcome to the North Shore 9 postgame show, sponsored by Primanti Brothers. I'm Neil. With me is Doug again. Doug, I'm a little disappointed. I'm not going to lie. I had a whole plan for this because the Pirates decided to finally not make history for an offensive ineptitude today. I was going to go to a total line. I was going to get Sam Champagne. I was going to open it up on the broadcast. But, of course, 2-hour rain delay. It's closed. I can't go there now. And so now we're just going to talk about it. But the Pirates finally score 5 runs.
In a loss. I mean, is there anybody that's not sure that was how it was going to happen when they finally, score more than 4 runs for the first time, I think since February or something like that. They score 5 runs. They have 5 extra base hits, 4 doubles and a home run. And they lose 8-5. The rain delay did not help them.
No.
I went and saw Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning today. I want you to guess which thing I enjoyed more today: the movie or the game.
I'm going to take a wild guess here, and I'm going to guess that you enjoy the last Final Fantasy. Is it not Final Fantasy? Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible. Yeah.
No doubt. Do we want to turn this into Neil and Doug go to the movies? We can.
I really do, but the people are here for the North Shore 9 post-game show, so
they are.
And I have to face them on Saturday, so
yeah. No, that's fair. And you can talk all the movies you want with them because I'm sure no one at the tailgate will want to talk actual Pirates baseball. So. First of all, we're going to tell you about our friends at BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season is in full swing, and we're into the NBA and NHL playoffs, and BetOnline has more ways to stay in the action with the latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA, MLB, NHL, and UFC, BetOnline remains the best online source for all your sports wagering info. In between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino with the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here. So, like we mentioned, the Pirates do not set the record for the live ball era of most games without scoring 5 runs. And we were 1 game away. We were 1 inning away. We were this close to making history. And one of my favorite things, honestly, is just reading our Discord. Everyone in the game chat is pissed. Everyone in the game chat wanted to see this happen, and the Pirates couldn't even give that for us.
Right. If we're going to be historically bad, and if we're going to be so bad in year 6 of the rebuild when it's time to win, then let's be really bad. Because we want change. Right. Like, if that's the kind of thing that can drive the termination of Ben Cherington, let's go for, let him score 1 run a game for the next 27 weeks, whatever it takes to get Ben Cherington out of there before he can make a trade.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really think that's going to happen, but I think that's not going to happen until the end of the season. But, it would have been kind of fun to see history. And if you're going to be this bad, we should be bad enough that John Boyce is going to make a video on us in a decade.
Yeah,
that's kind of the bad I want to be. And so we narrowly miss it. Now we are tied for the record. For the record. So we still have that going for us.
Right. I mean, we still have the record. We just share it with somebody.
Yeah.
And when we avoided extending the record, we only did it with 5 runs. It's not like we exploded, had a big 12 run. We just scored 1 more. We're not going to overachieve here. We're just going to score 1 more. And I mean, we left 10 on base, 3 for 11 with runners in scoring position. I mean, tonight's offense to me, even though they got the 5 runs, was sort of emblematic of the season, right?
Yeah.
Bases loaded, nobody out. Joey Bart, grounds into a double play. But then, Joey Bart does get his hit when there's a guy. He gets a single when there's a guy on first base. We got, like I said, we got 4 doubles tonight and didn't really produce much. Brian Reynolds had 2 doubles. Horowitz hits a home run. Cruz and Kiner Falefa double, and somehow that didn't really produce all that much.
I mean, you have to be sympathetic here. I mean, they only faced Aaron Savali, who has a 9 ERA on the season, and a guy who made his major league debut today, sat for 2 hours, and then it went like 2 more innings really well until he got.
Yeah, I know. I thought that was an not a typo, but whatever. I'm like, wow, they didn't update that. There's no way he's come back. No problem. Well, because nobody's afraid of our offense. Nobody thinks they don't. Oh man, we've got to bring in our ace closer. Our number 1 guy. No. We can bring up a guy that had an ERA of 7 at AAA. It's fine. The Pirates will do the outgetting. Our pitcher doesn't have to do that.
And also shout out the Rob Zombie appearance for 0.2 innings today. It's been a while since I've heard of him. Glad he's still finding work. But to be fair, even though this wasn't our Pirates loss, and we're kind of used to that, this game actually did have quite a bit to talk about. So this is Mike Burroughs' first MLB start. Started out really rough, but he ends the day on 5 innings, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 home runs. So what did you see from Mike Burroughs today? I'm actually not terribly mad about it, even though he wasn't very sharp to begin with.
No, I'm not either. It's his first start in the major leagues, right? Yeah, he's not dumb. He knows that we were clamoring to get Majinski out of the starting rotation. He knows this is his chance. So he's a little nervous. I never put too much stock in a guy's first appearance. And he gave up this 3 runs in the first inning, gave up a solo home run to a very weak hitting shortstop in the second, and then went 3 shutout innings. Was efficient with his pitches. Now they have not let him pitch into the 6th inning in the minors. But I mean, it seemed like he could have. I think he threw 70. Somewhere between 70 and 80 pitches, and so I think he looked okay. I was sort of wondering at one point if perhaps Joey Bart had called a better game. Maybe if they would have relied on his curveball a little more, which is supposedly his best pitch, maybe they could have got better results. But yeah, I'm kind of impressed, right? He bounced back, he settled down, he grinded it out, and kept us in the game, or would have kept the at least 28 of the other major league teams in the game.
Stay the line, Bart. Stay the line, Bart. He kept us in the game.
He kept us in the game, right? Pitched well enough, right?
No, I mean, like, really, really rough to start out with. So, like, what I was really impressed with, I think, is mostly his changeup. Almost a 50% whiff rate on his changeup today. 47%. Hitters weren't really seeing it all that well. What was a little concerning is that his four seam just got rocked today. Like one whiff from the fastball. Like people were making lots of contact with it. And so that is my biggest concern, is that usually when pitchers don't have a good fastball, it's really, really, really hard to succeed in this league. You just need a fastball there to keep hitters honest. And if Burroughs doesn't have that, that's going to be a struggle. But I also don't know, obviously opening day jitters, he really did settle in. So I don't really know if it's an actual indictment on his fastball, but that would be the one concern that I have, is that it got rocked really, really early, especially in that first inning. He gives up 2 home runs, which is really something you never want to see. But I do admire how much he settled in. So that is something to take away from this.
Yeah, and again, it's one start. I'm not going to overreact. Um,
Mhm.
we'll see. You know what I'm saying? Like, he should get another one. He should. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, he should start. Make his at least next 4 or 5 starts. Let's see what he has. He has been an intriguing prospect for a while, and there's no reason to just shut him down or move him to the bullpen. Now. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
that's what happens eventually. But let's run him out there for 4 or 5 more starts.
Yeah, and, like, to be entirely fair, like, after he strikes out Turin in the first to start off the game, great start, he immediately lets up 3 base runners, including the Yelich 3-run home run. After that, over the next 4 innings, he only gives up 2 hits and a walk over the next 4 innings, and I do think, like, that's actually something, like, that is very impressive, and so on a team that doesn't have a whole lot of positives, I'm gonna be digging for positives here, and I'm actually really happy with how Burrows managed to settle in today, I think.
Yeah.
Giving up home runs to Joey Ortiz is kind of inexcusable,
Right.
but at the
I mean,
same
it's almost
time
inexcusable to give him up to Yelich. I mean, Yelich was having a
well,
terrible season, but again, he still got, if it's in there, it's in there type thing. So,
mhm,
but yeah, I mean, you're right. Like I said, I have no problem with this outing. I will check off the first inning to nerves.
mhm.
And we'll see. I mean, well, it's again, I don't like making grand proclamations after 5 innings of
Neither
of
do I.
baseball. So
Yeah, neither do I think, and I don't think that's really fair. The Pirates do get one back in the first with your, Joey Bart, his double play to score a run, which again, it's a run, but it's still an absolute killer.
yeah,
When you have the bases covered in buckos and you only get one running because you can't hit it out of the infield, like, it's so frustrating.
yeah. Well, I
Then
mean,
Joey
the Joey
Ortiz
Bart of last year was making hard contact and extra bases, home runs, and this
Mhm,
guy, and I keep teasing Jim. He's turned into Mitch Jeb. I mean, it's just singles, singles, singles. It's grounding out, it's grounding in double play. I mean, he still, I think, has the highest OPS on the team. He's, or maybe no, second
no, he
highest probably
doesn't.
after
He's
Cruz.
now at 700. He's behind
Right. Oh, he's
Cruz and
behind Cruz.
McCutcheon.
He's behind McCutcheon. Okay. But again, on this team, he is a top 3 hitter at this point. And, and it's all singles. I mean, we really need, and if it's going to continue to be all singles, let's
Mhm,
move him down. Not that we have a great, cleanup option or anything, but,
mhm.
singles and double plays, that's not going to move the runners around too much. So,
Yeah. Then, we do get, 1 home run. Just to get a little back get some of the lead back, Spencer Horwitz goes yard, his first time as a Pirate. First home run, 409 feet. Beautiful, beautiful swing.
yeah.
Um, that was that's
Neil
it's kinda
has
exactly what you need.
right. Has Ben Charrington acquired a hitter? I mean, it's way too early to say, but he looks like he can hit. And we heard he had no power. That was not a cheap one. That didn't just sneak
No.
over. I mean,
That was the
yeah,
big concern about Horwitz too, wasn't it? Is that
right.
just wasn't a big power guy, especially from the minor leagues and, like, but that was a really, really nice home run. He gets on base twice today, 2 RBIs, that home run. He's the guy who officially secures us from not making history.
Right.
So overall, not a bad day of the offense for Horwitz.
It's a decent start, right? I mean, he's hit
Mhm.
278 with a 794 OPS. I mean, he's, with a small sample size, but he is officially our best hitter right now. So, um, you
Yeah.
know,
Well, and then Christian Yelich homers on one of the worst pitches I think I've ever seen delivered into the batter's box. But I'm not going to get too mad at Matson if I'm going to be completely honest.
right.
He's just kind of here. But I mean, that was one of the biggest meatballs I've seen all year.
Yeah, yeah, he grooved it, and Kristen Yelich, like he said, he might not be playing at peak form, but he's not
Mhm.
missing that.
So, and then we get to the sixth, and then I think after this we'll talk about like the whole offense as a whole, because I kind of want to talk about the bottom half of this lineup again, 6 through 9 specifically. But I've never seen this before. So the Brewers are in trouble. Their pitcher can't throw strikes. The rain is coming down pretty hard, to be fair. And then the Brewers manager just kind of comes out and asks the umpires to put the game in delay or something. And then the umpire just sent the game into delay. Now, should it probably been in delay like 15 minutes ago? Yes. But I don't think I've ever seen that before in a baseball game.
Yeah. Like I said, the umpire probably, it was the correct call. And the umpire probably should have made that decision, but he should have made it on his own. Right. It should not be, the umpire runs out and, I'm sorry, the manager runs out and then gets the call. I mean, it's especially given the circumstances, right? You had first and third and Brian Reynolds up. Yeah, that's
it's really unfortunate timing for a team that can't score runs anyway.
Right.
Like, this pitcher is clearly on the ropes. The Pirates can't score runs. Brian Reynolds is hot. And you call the game there. You delay the game there. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And then you have to sit for 2 hours.
2 hours. It was, yeah.
So, I mean, the Pirates do chip away. It's now 5-3 after 6 innings. This is 100% a ball game. However, our bottom half of the lineup needs to be addressed. Hayes, Frasier, Pham, and IKF. All veterans, none of which can hit. I don't care that
2 for 16. They were 2 for 16.
I guess IKF can hit sometimes, but like it is atrocious what we are getting out of our veterans this year. I mean, Hayes, 1 hit. His OPS is barely over 600. Adam Frazier and Tommy Pham, not only can they not hit, and none of them hit today at all. I mean, Tommy Pham looks helpless. Tommy Pham looks like he doesn't belong anywhere near the baseball diamond when he steps.
I almost think it's cruel to play him, right? Like he can't play. He's done, and it takes some athletes a while to figure it out, and they're not going to walk away. This is, this might be the last contract he ever gets. And he's whatever, his money's guaranteed for the rest of the year. Just send him on his way. I mean, it's just absurd.
I don't know what trade value they think they're going to get for Tommy Pham or Frazier at this rate.
Our internal analytics, my friend, project him, coming out of this at just any time. Ben Cherington said as much, I think, tonight when in that interview that like we're still expecting improvement from some of these guys. These are the 2 big free agent acquisitions, and I'm sorry, they can't hit. And I don't know what veteran presence that they've contributed that has sparked this team, because it doesn't seem like this team has been sparked.
Well, and what's even worse is that these guys are supposed to be defensive players too, and then Adam Frazier just lets the easiest ground ball of his life just go right under his glove. He just completely misplays the ball, which leads to the 2 runs, which is why we lose today. Like the game is completely put out of reach after that in the 8th inning when Frazier, like poor Sugar, like he wasn't great, but he didn't deserve 3 runs today.
No, yeah, I felt a little bad for him. I don't want to get on Frazier too much because he has been a solid 26th man, but again, we're playing him like he's a, 12th guy on the roster. So yeah, it's, we said this, we did the show together on, was it Monday or Tuesday, whatever it was. And the blame is not in Tommy Pham and Adam Frazier. The blame is in Ben Cherington for insisting that they still play. And they're not, neither one of them are good enough to be everyday players for sure. Neither one of them are going to bring anything at the trade deadline for sure. Now they may be able to contribute in very limited spot duty here or there, but to keep running them out there on a consistent basis when, I don't know, I'd rather see Canario, I'd rather see Henry Davis. I would, they're like on and on and on. Put Joey Bart at DH, put Kutch in the field. I know we can only do that once a month, but And
Well,
let Henry catch. He's a better catcher.
this is ultimately why like I don't get on managers. Like I'm not gonna get on Don Kelly for this either because I've seen a lot in the comments and on Twitter that like Don Kelly setting horrible lineups, but I think it's just the nature
And
of the beast where these guys like Frasier or Pham are promised certain things when they sign a deal here. And if you don't keep those promises, you're still going to isolate yourself from free agents even further. And you have the front office who thinks you can recuperate some sort of value from these guys. So they are telling the managers to play them every day or as often as they can. And so, yeah, like we don't get exciting players like Canario playing
yeah,
tonight because we have to play the vets to trade them at the trade deadline because that's more valuable than seeing what you actually have. And it's why I don't get on the managers for this stuff, even though like
yeah.
it's the popular thing to do.
Well,
But
yeah,
like
I
it's
don't.
infuriating. But I get the
Yeah,
frustration because it is infuriating. But like, I mean, yeah, Hayes, Frazier, and Pham is just such a black hole. You have to change something.
right. Right. I mean, look, the part of the problem with this team tonight was that those two guys, those three guys gave you, one hit, or in the last four were 2 for 16, right?
Mhm.
We had guys on base. I mean, again, you had Joey Bart grinding into double plays and whatnot. But if this lineup just had a little more depth,
Mhm.
I mean, Spencer Horwitz is already and has helped that, and uh, Brian Reynolds looks like he might be back. He's had a very nice week.
Yeah.
It's like Cruz has seemed to warm up a little, and so it's like, all right, there's a little something there. If you just had a legitimate number four hitter, and then maybe Bart batting fifth or sixth, something along those lines, so you might be able to score some runs. But again, when Brian Hayes is batting fifth or fourth or anywhere, if he's not batting ninth, he's sort of out of spot. I mean, um,
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, we've waited for him for years. He is what he is. Uh, I don't think we should get rid of him. He's a phenomenal defensive player, and he has moments where he hits whatever, but he should not be anywhere near the middle of the order, right? He eighth or ninth is
No, I
the
agree.
best spot for him. IKF again. There's your 8 and 9 guys, and replace Pham with somebody that can hit. I mean, Canario. Like I said, Canario. If Canario is batting fifth tonight, I feel a little better about our chances. Henry Davis. And I realize Henry Davis has been dreadful, but he did have a good game yesterday. Maybe play the hot hand. I don't want to get too hung up on maybe whatever, but given what we got out of Bart and everybody else, I would have preferred to see Henry out
Mhm.
there for another shot.
Which is fair because he's also a better defensive catcher than
Well,
Bart. And
right, and he knows Burrows. He's caught
yeah.
Burrows, and
Mhm.
maybe again, a better called game makes a difference. Maybe we don't see the four seamer as much, and we see the changeup and whatever more.
Mhm.
So, I don't know. It's easy to say what could have been, but
Mhm.
yeah.
Well,
But I don't
and I'll
blame
but
this on
I'll
Donnie Kelly because I do think it's, I
no, I
think,
don't. Yeah.
Ben Charrington is pulling all the strings. So
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure Don Kelly has like Shelton had some say in like what lineups were, but ultimately the general manager gets to decide who plays the most, who plays where, and you kind of have to like fit your lineups around that, which just kind of sucks. But yeah, I mean, yeah, like give Davis a week, right? Like
right.
do whatever you have to do, but like he's your 1.1 pick. I'm not saying he's going to play well, but it's kind of like the same frustration of seeing Frazier. Call up York. I don't like,
Call up York, right? No, I mean
it just
it just comes down to all I want out of Henry Davis now, and all I want out of this season is answers. Right?
Mhm.
I don't want to go into next season and say, gee, we only gave Henry 120 at bats, so we don't know. So the new GM has to let's find out. Let's play Henry 4 times a week. Right? You
Mhm.
could work it out. I mean, he should he's gonna start with Skeens. He started with Heaney yesterday. Let him start with Heaney, and then let him, 2 other games where that McCutcheon plays the outfield. I think you could, stretch McCutcheon out to play the outfield twice a week,
Mhm.
and I don't think he'd have to, be put on oxygen, and you know. I mean, Tom
Yeah,
Cruise
and
can still do the stunts he's doing at age 61 or 62, however old he is. I believe that Andrew McCutchen can play the outfield twice a week.
we just need to get Andrew McCutchen the rabbit's foot, and everything will be
You're right.
okay.
The entity. But yeah.
I mean, it's a really brutal game again. Like, you do get 2 back in the 9th, but all intents and purposes, this game was over in the 8th. I don't know. Like, if I'm going to be generous here, when Gonzalez is back, and if Gonzalez just hits average, you can kind of, like in Ben Sherrington said, you can kind of squint and see what he's going for.
Right.
For Cruz, Kutch, Reynolds, Bart, Horowitz, Gonzalez, like that's a front 6 that doesn't make you want to stab your eyes out. Not saying it's a great offense.
No, but it makes me want to close my eyes more than it makes me want to squint.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Sugar had the rough inning.
I have to believe it's going to get better. I refuse to believe like we're like this much worse than the White Sox offensively, but man, like I don't know. It's tough to do this. It's tough.
I mean, none of us thought it was going to be this bad, right? We were all predicting in the 70s and low. I predicted 79 wins. I think most of the guys were in the 70s, low 80s. We thought the pitching would do sort of what it's doing, right? And then we thought that they would, scrape a few hits. I mean, obviously, we thought Gonzalez would be playing, and again. I mean, Gonzalez was a, below average hitter yesterday, but just below. He wasn't a 130 hitter. So
he wouldn't be hitting like Adam Frazier or Tommy Pham.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, right. If you, again, if Adam Frazier started once a week, I wouldn't be too mad, right? It's fine. Pinch hit once in a while, whatever, came in on some switches, that sort of thing. Fine, right? And if Nick Gonzalez is here, maybe that's the case. Or if Nick York is up here, maybe that's the case. And it's sort of stunning to me still that Nick York's not up here, because Nick York, they've played him some outfield. He'd give you more versatility than Pham. I mean, the Pham thing just makes no sense, right?
And if I speak, I am in trouble, so I will not. But let's get out of here.
I mean, we're not letting you come to the tailgate on Saturday because of the threats that have been made against you by, some of those people who aren't very happy with you. We've had to, enforce and enact additional security measures. Neil has got, you can't see him right off screen. There's a bodyguard. So yeah,
you can't see the gun held to my head, but like it's off screen. But anyway, Doug, let's get out of here. It's late. Thank everyone for tuning in. We should there'll be a post game tomorrow night. I know our boy Ryan will be on. I may be on as well. But hopefully we'll be able to hand out sandwiches. I feel like it's been 3 weeks since I've handed out sandwiches, so I'm looking forward to it.
Come to the tailgate. And sandwiches, regardless of what happens, we're having sandwiches. So
come to the tailgate. It's a great time. Please, and I'll plug the Discord again. They're a bunch of great guys. Great. They make watching the game a whole lot more bearable. So
and that's a miracle in itself right there.
Yeah. But have a good night, everyone. We'll see you soon, and let's go Bucks.
Let's go Bucks. Paul Skeens tomorrow night, boys and girls.
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube, if you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.